Hello, Toronto! Oh my God, look at all of you beautiful people. Hi, gorgeous. Hello, beautiful, how are you? Wow, this is exciting. You know, I have probably done about, am I too loud? No. I can project, baby. I don't know if I need this thing. Anyway, I've probably done about 25 appearances in Canada. I love Canada. Oh, Canada! But this is actually my first time to appear in Toronto. What's up with that?
Love you!
I just want to say thank you to Canada's Bridal Show for bringing me in, and Hudson's Bay and Remax for supporting me and bringing me into this lovely, lovely show. So thank you guys. And listen, we're going to try to make this as interactive as possible. So if you brides or anybody out there have questions, I'm sure somebody else has the same question, raise your hand. I'll answer it. You got a question? I've got an answer for it. So I'm going to tell you, I know everybody kind of wants to know, like, how did I get here? So let me start with that first. I was born and raised on a farm in southern Illinois. Yeah, that was my vision of what I would be if that really was true. With my little, what do you call that? My little messenger bag with my cows with the roses. No, I was born on a 163-acre farm with 100 head of cattle, the last of 7 kids. What were my parents thinking? I have no idea. So, anyway, I ran away from the farm about 5 times. I hated those cows. Did anybody here live on a farm? Okay, you have cows?
Yes.
Yeah, and you woken up at 5 o'clock in the morning to live in the neighbor's yard? Welcome to my life as a child. Yeah, you know it very well. So, when I was 9 years old, my mom bought a sewing machine, and she put it in my room and said, Randy, do not touch my good sewing machine, do not touch my good scissors, do not touch my good fabric. Well, she was a home health nurse, and she went to work that day, and my mom literally could not put a hem in a terry cloth towel to save her life. I didn't understand why. I would stand by her in frustration, wondering, why can't this woman sew? I mean, you put your foot on the pedal, and you just go, right? It's that simple. She went to work, and I got out her patterns, and I actually, at the time, had a crush on that girl. Okay, raise your hands if you know that girl. Okay, I'm dating myself. I know, see, there's not very many hands went up. Okay. That's Marlo Thomas, and just in case anybody doesn't know, and I had a big crush on her, and she had some patterns out at the time by McCall. I got out one of her patterns, and I laid out my mom's fabric. We had a 10-foot table, because with, 7 kids, you gotta have a big table. Perfect for making dresses. I laid out the fabric, laid out the pattern, cut the dress out, sewed it up, pressed it, put it on a hanger, cleaned up the mess, and she wore it to work the next day. She came home and said, where did this dress come from? I'm like, I made it. She came home the next day and brought me a pattern for a skirt and said, can you make this? Honey, my dream came true because I was no longer taunted by these cows. That was my ticket out of the field, and I was so happy. I was the kid that was taking the baling twine off the bales of hay and making macrame plant holders. In the 70s, yes, they were big and popular for those that weren't around then. How many people weren't even born in the 70s? Raise your hand. Yeah, oh my God, I'm tough. Thanks for making me feel old. Thank you. I had a business doing it, actually. I made some good money. They taunted me. I hated those cows so much. Eat beef. Did anybody watch Marilyn Dennis yesterday? Yeah. I made filet of beef with gorgonzola sauce. A big old hunkin' piece of filet of beef, baby. Eat beef. It's good for you. Look at me. Anyway, so I ran away 5 times, and finally when I became a hairdresser and a makeup artist. So that was my first profession. So when you see me on Randy to the Rescue, I really do know about hair and makeup, and I do understand the whole process. So I did that first, and I then was an entertainer for a while, and then I saved up my money from all of that, and I moved to New York City. And I almost got hit by a cab taking this photo. Actually, it's the sight about people on the bicycles in New York that you have to watch out for. Who's been in New York City? Raise your hand. Right? It's the bicyclers, and now Citibank has put bicycles all over the city that you can rent. And people think they know how to ride them.
No, they don't.
Hey, they're always going the wrong direction. They don't look at the lights. I'm crossing. I'm going to get killed here. If I die, it will be by a bicycle. I promise you. I love New York. It's my home. I've been there about 18 years off and on. But anyway, I studied at the Fashion Institute of Technology. And actually, in my third semester, they were holding a contest, and it was for fourth semester to eighth semester students only. But because I was me, and so over-aggressive, and you know, an overachiever, and loved evening wear and everything, they said, come on, guys, you've got a 4.0 grade point average, let's let this kid in this contest. So they let me enter the contest, and we were supposed to design a mood board, a bridal design, and a bridesmaid design. I did, of course, 5 mood boards, 5 bridal gown designs, and 5 bridesmaid dresses. And so the judges came in and they chose the top 10. And they chose all 5 of mine, not knowing that it was the same student. So they had to go and choose 1 of mine and go back and choose 4 others. Well, one of the judges actually just happened to be Vivian Desi Diamond, who does Desi Creations Bridesmaids. You've heard of them, right? Are they going to be at your wedding? They do beautiful dresses, right? Bridesmaids dresses have come a long way, haven't they? Yeah, a long way, trust me. So she hired me, and the Diamond Collection, her husband, Paul Diamond, had the Diamond Collection, so they hired me before I even graduated. So I won the contest after that. So, here was actually some of my sketches. And then here actually was my very first bridal gown. And the reason I won the contest with this gown is because back in 1993, oh God, I'm really dating myself now, they didn't wear halters because back then you were supposed to have your shoulders covered for a religious ceremony. Well, I didn't know. None of my friends were getting married. At least not back then. Now they are. So I knew I had been to 2 weddings in my entire life. My brother's wedding and my older brother's wedding, my older sister's wedding, and I was ring bearer in both. So what did I know? So I did a halter, and it won the contest, and that was my first dress. And we filmed this in the Amish country. It was just beautiful there. So then, oh wait a minute, let me go back. That was supposed to be a surprise. Hang on, okay. So I did bridal for a very long time, living in New York City. I love New York City. I loved doing what I was doing. But then came 9/11. And it really, I have to say, it really shook me up pretty bad. And I said, I gotta get out of here. So I moved, actually when I ran away that 5 times, I ended up with my brother in Louisiana. And so I said, let me go back to Louisiana, but let me go to someplace a little more cosmopolitan, a little more fun. So I moved to New Orleans, and bought a couple of homes, flipped them, and then bought a brand new, beautiful condo overlooking the French Quarter on Esplanade Avenue with the big trees with the Spanish moss in April 2005. And I was just about to open up my own one-of-a-kind bridal shop and Mardi Gras ball gown shop. And 2 weeks later, Hurricane Katrina. Yeah. So who wants a dress when you don't have a roof over your head, right? So we stayed there for about 2 years, and the bills kept mounting up. And I said, you know, I really need to get back and doing what I love, which is bridal and working with brides. So Kleinfeld actually offered me a position, I think for next year. Let me see, there we go. Kleinfeld, they created a position for me. Never before that I am aware of has there been a man in a bridal salon. First of all, you get in the dressing room, you strip naked and put on dresses, so they're not going to let a guy in the room. But anyway, they knew that I was a bridal gown designer, and I had won 2 Debbie Awards, which is like the #1 award you can win in bridal as a designer 2 years in a row. So they knew that I knew bridal, I knew hair, I knew makeup, I obviously could talk. So they said, let's put him on the floor and just see if he can help the consultants close sales and work with the brides and make them feel beautiful. So they created a position of fashion director for me, and I worked there for 5 years and loved every moment. Now I just film there because I don't have time to do that and do this. And aren't you glad I'm here? You guys are so sweet. I love you, Toronto! Have you guys had any celebrity sightings for the tips? No, okay, I'll tell you a funny little story. So I'm in my room the other night, room service lady came in, and she wheeled in my cart, and I said, how's your night going? She goes, oh, I'm having so much fun. I'm meeting celebrities like you. And I said, really? And who else? She goes, Zac Efron. I said, really? She goes, and he's skinnier than you. Honey, I doubled her tip, okay? Finally, somebody skinnier than me. Thank God the camera adds 10 pounds to me. Anyway, so when I started there, it was actually the day I started was the final day they were filming this show, a reality TV show. I don't know if you've heard of it. Say Yes to the Dress. I said, no way am I doing a reality TV show. I don't even watch those things. So anyway, I declined, and I declined, and I declined. And finally, one day, the producer came up to me, and there was a woman getting on the stage, and she was maybe 4'11", with hair, heels, and attitude, and pumps, getting on the pedestal, and she was like, bust, belly, and behind. And she was wearing a strapless pink and green Lazaro. You probably know the one that goes way out on the bottom, and she stepped up on the pedestal. And the producer came up to me and said, you cannot tell me that you're a good fashion director if you're going to let that girl walk out with that dress. She said, you need to go to the stockroom and pull some dresses that are going to look good on her figure. I was like, okay. So they put a microphone on me, and I went to the stockroom and pulled some dresses, and I knock on the door, and the door opens, and there's the manager, and there's the consultant, and there's the bride. And I'm like, hi, I'm Randy. I'm the fashion director. Nice to meet you. I just brought some dresses for you that I thought you might want to try on. She said, what's wrong? You don't like this dress? I said, no. I said, I just think these would really flatter your body. So that was it. I left them in the room, and I walked out. I knew nothing else what was going on. Done. End of story. They filmed me some more that season. So the season 2 premiere trailer is coming on. And I see Sarah, the consultant, she's saying, what do I do? Tell Randy to shut up? What do I do? Tell Randy to shut up? What do I do? Tell Randy to shut up? I'm like, what is she talking about? This trailer kept running over and over. I was like, what is she talking about? Well, they had set me up. When I walked into the room, the reason the manager was there was because she was measuring the girl for her dream dress that she had a picture of that she came in for. So I had no clue. I was so upset because, you know, it may not have been my taste, but the girl was happy. She felt beautiful. She wanted it. Anyway, so I stayed up the entire night crying. I started on the phone, bawling to my friends on the East Coast, and I started calling my friends on the West Coast, and then I got to my friend in Hawaii at 6 o'clock in the morning. I literally stayed up the entire night. I was so upset and devastated that they would do this to me and that I would do this to a bride. I would never break somebody's dreams. I mean, this is her dream dress. So anyway, I pulled myself together and said, you know, I got to get into work the next day because I got bills to pay from Katrina. So I crawled into work. I'm hiding in my office, okay? And all of a sudden, this hand comes through my door and grabs my arm and yanks me and starts dragging me through the salon. And it's the mother of the bride. And she goes, I want you to come look at my daughter and her dress. You're the only one here that's not out to make a sale because I don't work on commission. She goes, and that's right. And you were right last night. That girl should have not had that dress on. And as I was walking through the salon, I heard the comments, oh, there's the guy that's honest. Oh, he's the one with taste. Oh, he's the one that knows what he's doing. And I'm like, well, maybe last night's episode wasn't as bad as I thought. So anyway, that's how I got on the show, and here we are today. And I love the show because it is true reality. Then I created my own show, which I'm very proud of, Randy to the Rescue. Have you guys seen it? Oh, this is a major production. Just to put it in perspective, Say Yes to the Dress, we have about 6 people on set. For Randy to the Rescue, we have about 50 people. We literally filled a bridal salon and a makeup and hair room and 8 dressing rooms, and we travel the country in this truck. I don't travel in the truck. They fly me in, and then I get in and although I could, and I would drive that semi. They were going to let me drive it one time, but I don't think they had the insurance for it, because I was ready, baby. But anyway, so Randy to the Rescue, we do that, and what's really interesting is there's a lot of guys that watch the show. How many guys watch the show? Raise your hand. Yes! See, his hand went upwards. Now, that's a man. That's a man that owns it. Yes! Because let me tell you, I know you guys. I know your type. You're the ones that are like, honey, I've got your glass of wine waiting and your favorite show tuned in. We're waiting for you. Honey, I know, because I'm in a restroom in Atlanta, and a guy goes, Randy, my wife loves you. Can I get a picture? As the urinals are all stood up behind me, and all the guys are standing going, and I'm like, can we please just get out of the bathroom first? So anyway, a funny story happened one time. I was because I know you guys watch it. So I was in the salon one day. This is when I was working there, and there was this really butch guy standing there. It was the father of the bride. And he said, Randy, he said, I just have to tell you a little story. He said, I'm here with my daughter, helping her find a dress. And he said, I'm a security guard at a maximum state penitentiary in upstate New York. And he said, I was talking to some of the inmates and saying, I'm coming to Kleinfeld and I'm going to help my little girl with the dress. And he said 3 of the prisoners came to him and said, yo, dude, if you're going to Kleinfeld, you got to see that Randy dude. He's the one that's going to hook you up with the dress. He knows you. So you got to see that Randy. So in prison, watching Say Yes to the Dress are these guys. And I'm okay with that. As long as they stay behind bars, I'm okay with that. So anyway, I thought that was a funny story. So anyway, my 3 E's. Okay, so everything I do, I try to follow my 3 E's, because I think that, first of all, education is so important. Elevate, I want people to elevate. I want you to feel good about yourself. There's so many people with body image issues and whatnot. And I think to empower. So when you walk away today, you're going to feel empowered. You're going to feel beautiful. So if it doesn't follow my 3 E's, I don't do it. So that's my mantra. And then we're going to talk about bridal. Let's see where we're going. This is the #1 question that I get from brides. How many of you, raise your hands today, how many of you asked me, what dress did you put me in exactly? Okay, so I'm going to tell you exactly what dress you're going to wear. I'm going to give you the whole scoop. So I know that's the #1 question I get every day. What dress would you put me in? And these are, by the way, this is the picture from my book. And who has my book? Raise your hand. Yeah, brides don't like to read. They want me to give them the information. Yeah, I get it. All the information's in my book, by the way. Everything you want to know is in there, and it's easy reading. And I wrote every single word. But they don't want to read it. They just want me to tell them. But anyway, what I'm so proud about the book is that it's real brides in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Not models, not airbrushed. These are real women from size 2 to size 22, and every single one of them are gorgeous. Because in the right dress, and the right hair, and the right makeup, you too can be beautiful, no matter what size, shape, or age that you are. It's about putting it all together. So what dress would you put me in? Okay. First, you need to start with your story. And this is Linda, actually. She's one of the brides in my book. She's 63. Gorgeous, right? Yep. This is her on the left at her wedding, and on the right after I got done with her and my team, and we made her over. Look, she looks 20 years younger, right? So anyway, you need to think about your story. And what is your story? Let me tell you about Linda's story. Her story was, both her and her fiance, they fell in love. She was in her 60s, he was in his early 70s, and they met on Match.com, actually. And she said, I don't know if, she said, I'm in my 60s, he's in his 70s, do we really want to spend all this money on a wedding? She said, well, let me see. At my age, it's more like 4 funerals than a wedding. So why don't we spend money? And then nobody's going to have fun at our funerals, so why don't we spend money on the wedding? It's going to make everyone happy and make me happy, and let's have a celebration while we can still enjoy it. So that was her story. And she didn't know if she could wear a dress, a wedding dress, or a veil, and I talked her into the veil, and she was so happy. She said, Randy, thank you so much. I felt like a bride with the veil. So ladies, if you haven't tried on a veil, and you don't want to wear a veil, just try it on. Long, low, okay? Just try it on. If you don't like it, you can take it off. But that was her story. So now you have to think about your story, because the reason you have to think about your story is, what are you doing in a wedding? What you're doing is you're telling your guests the story about you and your fiance. You're saying, this is our style, this is our fashion sense, these are the flowers that we like, this is the food that we like to eat, this is the music we like to listen to, this is the way we like to get down and party. Everything about the wedding is your story. It's telling your guests about who you are. So every wedding is unique and personal and intimate. And the more you focus on who you are as a couple, and the more little things that you give up about your story, the more your guests are going to love it. They're going to love the fact that they're going to say, oh, this is so them. And it's going to be unlike everybody else. So make it personal and make sure it tells your story. Look at my watch. I'm going to make sure I don't go over time here because I can talk, baby. So, your story. Then you need to think about your look. You probably saw Jessica on the right? She was our bride that wanted to wear fairy wings. When she first did fairy wings, I thought, oh my God, I can only imagine what these are going to look like. But you know what? Her and her fiance both work at Archie Comics, and they're into this like Wiccan and all these fairy tales, and they're wedding is beautiful. Look how beautiful she is, even with fairy wings. So she told her story. That was her look. She did it. On the left we have Brienne, and she wanted that kind of 1950s retro look, kind of that Audrey Hepburn, Grace Kelly look. So that was her look. So how do you want to look? Do you want to look sexy? Do you want to look bohemian? Do you want to look romantic? Do you want to look bohemian, sexy, romantic? You can do it. You can have all three. And wear cowboy boots and be rustic all at the same time. Oh, Canada's Bridal Show. www.canadasbridalshow.com. Do I need to flip to the next thing? Okay, there we go. Okay. That kind of flipped me out. Location. Another couple in my book, Jesse and Brienne. They met in actually grade school, and they dated all through high school. And then anyway, he proposed to her. He led her on this scavenger hunt, which started at the school, and then she had to go and follow all of these clues until she ended up on the beach where he had laid the shells out in a big heart, and she had to dig in the sand, and buried in the sand was this treasure chest with her ring in it. And that's the way he proposed. And then once he proposed, the white horses came up, they got on, and rode off into the sunset. I swear this is their story. I'm not making this up. And so they had to get married on the beach. So she wanted a dress that was beach appropriate, and here's the picture from their wedding, and they look beautiful. So think about your location. Location is very important. You know, if you're trying to save money on your wedding, find a beautiful location that you don't have to do a lot of decorating, right? Okay. And remember, there is a budget. We'll talk about that in a minute, I think. Okay, which gown is right for my body type? That's what you want to know. Who knows your body type? Raise your hand if you know your body type. Okay, what are you? You're what? Hourglass? Who else? A pear? More of an apple? Who else? What else do we have? I saw some hands go up. Come on, you know your body types. What are they? Go ahead. What's your body type? Hourglass? Okay. I've heard, well, let's go through some of the body types and let's see if you can identify with them. Because I've heard, you know, apple, pear, whatever. Here's a cornet, here's a lollipop, here's a Skittle. See if any of these resonate with you. Here we have a column, a bell, and a goblet. Yeah. Okay. Here we have a cello, here we have an apple, and we have an hourglass. I think some of the sands got caught up in the middle of that hourglass. Just saying. We have a vase, we have a pear, and we have a brick. Is anybody here a brick? Ladies, don't go by these. Let me tell you something. Take it from me. Don't let anyone compare you to a fruit. It's going to take you guys a while to get that one, okay? So anyway, the thing you have to do is try it on. And the reason you have to try it on is because every single body is shaped different. And every dress is shaped different. Yes, you may be an hourglass and you may be an hourglass. But maybe here we have an hourglass figure who's 4'11" and weighs 90 pounds. And here we have an hourglass that's 5'11" and weighs 350 pounds. Do you think that the same dress is going to fit right on the same girl? On two different girls? No, it's not. So what do you need to do? Try it on. You know, go in with what your vision is and let the consultant pull that dress. But if you have a really good consultant and they know what they're doing, they're going to put you in the right dress. So you know what? Just try on the dress they bring in. The worst case scenario, you don't like it, you take it off. So many times I have to wrestle these brides in a dress. I'm like, just put the damn dress on. I I do this for a living, for God's sake. I've dressed millions and millions of brides. Just put the damn dress on. If you don't like it, take it off. It's wedding dress shopping. What could be more fun, right? It should be fun. If you're not having fun, go to Vegas, honey. Bridal fashion trends. Okay, I'm going to skip through these really quickly because you'll see why. Bridal fashion trends. Everybody asks me, Randy, what's the bridal fashion? What's the trend in bridal right now, right? You guys want to know what's the latest, hottest trend? Well, first the question you have to ask yourself is, do you want to be the latest, hottest trend? Because let me just say the latest trend that was at the last bridal show in April was the Great Gatsby. All the designers were inspired by the movie that they had yet to see, and they designed all their collections, you know, based on dresses from the Great Gatsby. Well, by the time the movie came out, and the dresses hit the stores, and the brides came into shop for them, and then their weddings are when? Has anybody seen the movie? Yeah, I've forgotten about it too. Anyway, so do you want to be trendy is the question, because that trend may be out before the dresses even hit the store. And so you might want to be classic. So think about that. So here's where we're going to go through some designers and just show you. Oscar de la Renta. You've got a ball gown with sleeves on the top and a kind of a little caplet on the top with a high neck. And then you've got a kind of a trumpet silhouette strapless, beautiful. And then we have Carolina Herrera. You see a ball gown, very tailored, classic. You see a lace dress with some sleeves, straight. And then you see on the right a one-shouldered, very glamorous look. Same designer, 3 different looks. Then we have Brie Mackerel. Once again, we have a ball gown on the left. We have a trumpet in the middle, or a mermaid. If there's a steam there, I call it a mermaid, with lots of texture and dimension. That's one of the big trends right now. And then you have a short, kind of a high-low dress. One designer, 3 different looks, right? Okay, you're seeing a trend here. The trend is, okay, we have Monique Lhuillier. We have a straight dress with, once again, a yoke. We have a ball gown, and we have kind of a long torso with lots of movement and texture on the bottom. Then we have Vera Wang. We have a ball gown, we have a one-shouldered mermaid, and then we have an A-line. Bottom line is there are a million dresses out there. There are literally a sea of wedding gowns out there. The question is, how do you want to look? And the question is, number one, what's your story? What's the second thing? What's your look? And then what's your location? You have to think about the location. I mean, you don't want to get married in a big, heavy satin ball gown with long sleeves in August in Mexico, right? You're going to be like dripping wet. So you need to think about your location a little bit. But there's a sea of dresses out there, and it really can be confusing. But here's what I'm going to tell you, ladies. And here's what you're going to take home. The dress you buy is the dress you feel the most beautiful in. Because when you feel beautiful, baby, you stand 6 inches taller. You walk into that room with attitude and down that aisle like nobody's business. Because it's not always about what you put on, it's about what you put out. And I know when I'm putting on a new swanky suit and I got my tie and pocket square and matching socks, I'm feeling 8 feet tall. So when a bride asks me about a dress, I'm like, how does it make you feel? If you feel beautiful, then baby, get it. Because you're going to own that dress. And they're going to say that's the most beautiful bride I've ever seen. And as I said, it's not about the dress. It's about the way you wear the dress. Okay, let me see what's next. We got, bridezillas, because that's what we want to avoid. Do we have any bridezillas out there? Raise your hand. Nobody's going to admit, your friends are bridezilla. Now, I have a question. Why is she bridezilla? Crazy? Everything's what? Everything's done and it's not till next July? I would call that organized. Bridezillas. I do not believe in bridezillas, and I'll tell you why. I have girls that honestly, all they want is to look beautiful on their wedding day. And what's wrong with that? And they want everything perfect. Yep. And why shouldn't it be? How many thousands of dollars are you spending? How many photographs are going to be taken? How many people are going to be there? It should be perfect. bridezilla to get it right. But it's good to plan ahead. So anyway, okay. I'm going to give you some of Randy's rules so you don't turn into bridezillas. How's that? Okay, let's go through some of Randy's rules. Randy's rules. Number 1. This is the thing I want you to remember, and I talk about it over and over and over. These 2 words. Silhouette and proportion. And I'm going to get back to the body types. And we're going to use those fruit, okay? Or what? We won't use the fruit. I'll use the body, really, because every body is different. Like when somebody says they're a pear, that means they're fuller on the bottom, right? Well, where are you carrying that weight? Is it the high hip or is it the low hip? You know, so you can't just say pear. You know, even pears are shaped differently. You know? So it's where you carry the weight and where the dress hits you, because you might want to show it off right at your skinniest part, and then let the dress come out. So what most brides are trying to achieve is that beautiful hourglass silhouette, right? You want to show off those curves, right? You got them, show them off. If you don't have them, you want to create them. So if you're a little less in doubt on top, then add something with some beading or bling on top. Do a sweetheart neckline. If you're a little fuller on the bottom, add more on top. So it balances it out. You're always trying to balance it out. If you're more straight, if you have a thicker midsection, do ruching on the diagonal. Throw on a sash in a darker color that's going to create that waist with a little fuller skirt and more of a top that creates that illusion of that hourglass shape. That's what you're going for if you really want the answer. So, silhouette and proportion. If you're 5 feet tall or 4'11", make sure the dress doesn't overpower you. Ladies, once again, the dress is to enhance your beauty, not overpower you. I once had a bride, oh my gosh, literally, she was, once again, probably 5 feet tall in hair and heels and everything else, and she got an Eva Milady gown, and if you know Eva Milady, they have the big ball gowns with the beaded skirt, all the beading on the front of the skirt. Of course, hers, the beading now came up to the waist because she was so petite once it was altered. She extended the train like another 3 feet. She extended her veil like another 4 feet past that. She had on a crown. She had on these huge chandelier earrings. She had on a bracelet. She had on an anklet, I swear to God. She had beading on the edges of the veil and beading on the end of the veil, and of course beading on the train. And she was trying on this huge, chunky, beaded necklace. And she called me in the room and said, "What do you think?" I said, you're kidding, right? You're kidding. She goes, no, I love this necklace. I think it's beautiful. Yes, it is. But is it making you look any more beautiful? So you need to step back. Yes, it's a beautiful necklace. But is it making you look any more beautiful? Or is it just a beautiful necklace? Think about it before you spend that money. So proportion, make sure it's in proportion to your body. That's the bottom line. Okay, here's my little girl. She was, if it's over on Randy's the Rescue, she was 3 feet, I think, 10 inches tall. She had brittle bone disease, scoliosis, one bust bigger than the other, one hip higher than the other. So how is this woman supposed to find a dress? She wanted lace, and she wanted bling. Well, this is the dress I found for her. And it gave her, she said she was tired of being called a little girl. She wanted to feel like a woman. She wanted to be sexy on her wedding day. Tabitha's her name. I still keep in contact with her. We text still. She's so sweet. Anyway, so this dress actually was cut like this, I think. And her higher hip was here. So I recut the dress like this so that it balanced it out. It also had ruching on it, which really camouflaged her barrel chest. We padded one side of the front to balance out her bust. And this is the dress we came up with. And the bouquet, I ripped it apart and cut it in half so it would be in her proportion. Because even at her size, you have to think about all the accessories have to be delicate and in proportion. So that she looked like, I mean, look, she looked like a beautiful bride. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. There we go. There you go. She looked like a beautiful bride. She looked like a woman. Even at 3 feet 10 inches tall, the silhouette proportion. And she had you can't see with her elbows in, but she had a beautiful shape in this dress. It looked great. I stayed up all night cutting the dress and re-sewing it and adding the crystals. And yes, and when I brought in the dress into the room, she's like, "Oh my God, when did you do this?" Like last night when you were at the bar doing shots. Which she was. She's a character, I have to say. Okay, so let's go to these next photos, okay? So, who should you bring to your appointment? I get asked this all the time. Number one, don't bring these people. Okay, I'm going to give you brides some tough love here. Are you ready for it? A little tough love? You mothers are going to love me for this. Maybe you won't. I don't know. I love giving tough love. If you think that you're mature enough to get married and start a family and run a household and do it all, then I think you're mature enough to handle a bridal appointment. So here's the thing. When you invite these people, and there's no magic number, but you invite people that really care about you, and they're concerned about how you look and your feelings and your wants and your needs, because guess what? It is your day. Besides the fiancé, don't forget, there's a fiancé in this room, okay? And it's his day too. Don't forget about him. His suit's got to fit too, impeccably. So anyway, so here's the thing. You need to tell your people that you're bringing, your entourage. Number one, my budget is $2,000, so don't go pull a $20,000 dress and bring it in the dressing room and make me fall in love and me end up in tears. Number two, I don't want to look like Cinderella, so don't bring a big poofy ball gown, please. And number three, you know I'm very sensitive about my hip area, so while I'm on the pedestal in front of the three-way mirror, in front of 80 other people in the salon, don't say, boy, that dress makes your hips look wide. They're your guests. They need to respect that, and they need to act like guests. And you, as a bride, need to set the ground rules. And when you do, you will have a lovely bridal appointment. Let them know your budget, let them know your style, let them know what you're looking for, and you're going to have a great appointment. But you've got to set the rules. Got it? Got it. Okay. How are you in Toronto? Okay. Accessories. Oh, this is where you can spend the money. When it's done right. Because these shoes, I'm good with this. Because these shoes, you will wear for the rest of your life. Honey, I'm okay if you spend $600 on a pair of Louis Vuitton, because you're going to be wearing those things till the heels are 2 inches instead of 6. Because you're going to love them. And you know what? They're under the dress. They're not going to take away from your beauty. And you're going to wear them again. I would rather you spend $600 on a pair of great shoes than $60 on a pair of shoes that are going to end up in the back of the closet or in the dumpster, 6 months after the wedding. I mean, where's the value? Think about it. You can wear these any anniversary, any whatever. You wear them wherever, baby. They're your shoes. So accessories, let me see, are either going to elevate. This is one of the brides that we had a Vegas wedding. It was very pretty, by the way. She wanted this kind of retro 50s look with some feathers in her hair and a little cage veil. Accessories are either going to elevate or depreciate your look.
Where were you when that happened?
I don't make fun of people, but what were they thinking? First of all, that looks like a moose from Canada, right? On the right? I don't know what they were thinking. God bless them. They got more money than God. They don't know how to wear it. I mean, really? Does that hat make her look any more beautiful? No, you don't even see her because the damn hat on her head. Or that's what you want to call it. So think about your accessories. Is it making you look any more beautiful? Okay. So let's see what we got next. Okay, so why do I do this? People ask me all the time, Randy, why do you do this? Why are you so passionate about clothing? And why do you, stand up for the bride? Why do you want her to feel beautiful? I mean, it's just a piece of fabric, right? I mean, it's just an article of clothing, right? Well, let me tell you why. I thought, and as a child, the last of 6 boys, I had a lot of hand-me-downs. And I swore if I ever had money, I would have my own clothes, and nobody else was going to wear them. And I was going to spend it because it made me feel good. And there was a special I saw once that Oprah did. I don't know if anybody saw this. When she took Christmas to the children of Africa. Did anybody see that? No? Okay. Well, Oprah, let me see where we are. Okay. Oprah. Oh, here we are. Oh, my girlfriend, Oprah. Okay, she's gone. It's her world, and we're all just passing through. But this woman, I think, really tries to do some good things. I mean, come on, she is. She's bigger than the president. She's the one that got him elected, let me just say. I'm telling you, Hillary would have won it. Oprah hadn't stepped in. This woman's got power. But anyway, she wanted to go to Africa and give the children of Africa Christmas. Because we're kind of spoiled over here. You know, we get it all. We get more presents, and if there's not enough, we bitch about it, right? So she said, I want to take Christmas to the children of Africa so they can experience the joy that we get. And she did all the research that her team could do, and they got all the information, and they decided that what the boys really wanted was a soccer ball, and what the girls really wanted was a black baby doll. And she gave them all that, and then she gave them a uniform to wear to school. Well, guess which gift they liked the most? The uniform. But why? They said because when they put it on, they no longer felt poor. So think about that. Think about an article of clothing that makes you feel. And how do you want to feel on your wedding day? You want to feel beautiful, yes. So clothing makes you feel. And on your wedding day, baby, when you're walking down the aisle towards the man you love more than anyone on the planet, and in front of everybody, you want to look beautiful, and you want to feel beautiful. So clothes make you feel, and that's why I'm so passionate about them. And I love them, and I'll spend every damn dime I have on them. Does anybody follow me on Twitter? Raise your hand if you do. And the rest of you losers. Anyway, I tweeted a picture of I'm kind of sick. I was cleaning up my drawers. I have a system that I'll tell you about. I get the little Ziploc bags, and in every bag goes a pocket square, the coordinating tie, and the coordinating socks. So I have drawers under my bed that have all these, Ziploc bags filled with combinations. So in the morning when I get dressed, all I do is pull one of my suits, throw it on the bed, and then start going through the drawers and find the combination that I like. And it's easy. So I thought I would rearrange all my ties and pocket squares and socks. So it kind of got a little messy there, and I needed some new Ziploc bags that looked kind of old. So I dumped them out on my bed, and it was kind of sick. You're going to have to follow me on Twitter to see the picture. Literally, there's about 150 ties piled on top of my bed. I think it's a 12-step program for that, maybe. If so, I need to be on it quickly. So anyway, okay. More. Oh my gosh. Just like that bride I told you about, they wanted more. Is more going to make you look any more beautiful? That's the question. Well, let's see. Let's do an example. Let's see what we got here. Okay. I love Celine Dion, and she's Canadian. Right? I love her, but God bless her. Okay, this dress has sleeves, and it has ruching, and it has beading, and she has a veil, and she has a fur coat, and she has her flowers, and I think she has gloves, and she has a veil, and I read somewhere that this headpiece she wore weighs 13 pounds. Whose dog here weighs 13 pounds? Raise your hand. Yeah, right? Imagine, think about that for a minute. But does that make her look any more beautiful? No, it makes her look like a Las Vegas showgirl. You can't even see her beauty on the right. You can't even see her. So anyway, here we go. So let's do a comparison, side by side, of two princesses. They wore the same thing, right? They both had crowns. They both had veils. They both had long sleeves. They both had ball gowns. They both had a bouquet. They were both princes, or they were duchess, I'm sorry. She married a prince. They both married princes. Anyway, I love Princess Diana, but it was the 80s. Probably the worst decade of fashion ever. When more was in. The more you had, the better in the 80s. And she was young, so she wanted it all. And then you have Kate on the right, who said, I'm a woman, I'm confident, I don't need all this dress to make myself look beautiful. Look at the difference. And the proportion of everything is just perfect on Kate. And on Diana, she kind of gets lost in this big dress. I saw this dress actually in a museum once. At a mall. At a mall of whatever, I saw it. Anyway, it had a 25-foot-long train to her dress. Do you think that 25-foot-long train made her look any more beautiful? No. It just took her 10 minutes to get out of the carriage. So anyway, so let's talk a little about that. Look at her accessories. These accessories, these earrings, The history behind that, going back to her story, they're oak leaves and acorns, which the queen gave the family their coat of arms, which included the oak leaf and an acorn. And her parents gave her these diamond earrings. And look how beautifully they go with the crown that she chose to wear. Just beautiful, all in proportion. And then, look how she let Pippa walk down the aisle. Who was screaming about this? Raise your hand, be honest. Let me just say what this says. This says to me, this is a woman who's 27 years old that realizes, guess what? I'm marrying a prince, baby. I've got a hookup here. I don't need to look sexy on my wedding day. But you know what? My sister, she's young, she's got a great body. Why not let her show it off? So girls, when you are going to choose these bridesmaid dresses, remember, these are your friends. You don't have to put them in ugly dresses. There's a lot of beautiful bridesmaid dresses out today. And so what if she gets picked up for the wedding? You've already got a guy, okay? You don't need to be picked up. They do. I hear she got engaged. I heard that recently. Did she get engaged? Anybody know? Yeah, I think she got engaged. Good for her. Maybe this dress did it. Okay, so we're talking about that. And even though it was the most watched wedding in history, billions and billions and billions of people watched this wedding. The most watched wedding in history. Talk about how nervous would that make you? Let me just tell you. Oh, this is my favorite moment. When they went through the tunnel, and they were so proper. He saluted every time he saw somebody from the military, I believe, and she just bowed her head ever so gracefully, kept her hands in her lap. But when they were going through the tunnel, they didn't realize there were cameras planted in the tunnel, and her hand reached over and squeezed William's hand. That, to me, was my most favorite moment, because that showed me that they really loved each other. And you guys need to realize that's what it's about. It's about love. So even though billions of people were watching, it was really about a father and daughter. Oh, it was about a father giving his daughter away to the man she loved. And it's about love. Remember that. Okay? All the rest of the stuff is just fluff. If you really love each other, those are the best weddings. My brother just got married, and my sister-in-law, I have to say, was one of the most beautiful brides. My older brother, he's a full colonel in the Army. I can't talk too much, he's got like really secret jobs. He won't even let me take pictures of him and tweet him, because he's like, this is true. He's like, don't take pictures of me because they're out to kill me. Anyway, I don't know what he does. He doesn't tell me. He works in the Pentagon and all kinds of stuff in Afghanistan and Iraq and everywhere. I'm so proud of him. But anyway, he just got married about 3 weeks ago. And one of the most beautiful brides I've ever seen was the woman he married, a mother of 3, a grandmother of 3. I wish I had a slide here to show you her picture. If you followed me on Twitter, you would have seen it. Honey, she was rocking that dress, and she had such grace and such poise, and she was so beautiful. And it wasn't about what she was wearing, although she looked pretty damn hot in the dress. Okay, how much time do I have? About that time, okay. Let me get going with this. Anyway, she looked great in that dress, and she was a beautiful bride, and if you follow me on Twitter, you'll see her pictures. Okay, so, it's all about perspective. This is what you're going to leave with today. Okay? Life is a roller coaster, right? It's got its ups and downs. And honey, so is planning a wedding. And I'm going to tell you guys one thing. You're strapped in, and it has left the station. So you've got 1 or 2 choices. You can throw your hands up in the air and enjoy the ride, or you can throw your head over the side and puke. It's your choice. Enjoy the frickin' ride, right? It's your wedding. You should be having fun. If you're not having fun, don't get married. Elope. I don't care. Keep it in perspective. Anyway, because I want you to leave here empowered. So I need you guys to do me a favor. How long have you guys been sitting here? You guys have been sitting here a while, right? Stand up. Everybody stand up. Do me a favor. Everybody stand up. Shake it up. How are we feeling, Toronto?
I love you, Randy!
I love you more, baby. I have to say, it's really an honor and a pleasure for me. It's interesting because, as I said, I ran away from that farm 5 times. I had a a very abusive father. He was a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force, and I was his punching bag. He was a professional boxer also, and I wasn't exactly what he wanted, and I ran away 5 times. But you know what? I prayed my whole life to get off that farm, and now that I'm here, I'm not going to complain about it. So thank you, Toronto, for having me. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you watching my show. I appreciate the people following me on Facebook and Twitter, and I appreciate every moment that you came up there and took pictures with me. I loved it because, it was my dream, and I'm here and I'm living it, and it doesn't matter. You know what? I'm sorry, I'm going to run over time. I mean, this is my flight. I don't care. No, I've got a booking tomorrow. I better make it. But anyway, I love watching ice skaters when they go up and they try to do that triple sow cow and they fall on the ice. And then they get back up and they do it again. That fall does not define them. Getting back up defines you. 9/11, I went through. Hurricane Katrina, I went through. My childhood, I went through. Baby, I am still standing tall. And that's how, and by the way, this is the same bride. That was her in the fitting room, and this is when I got done with her. So I need your help. I need you guys to repeat after me. And guys, you can say this too, or you can say I am handsome, whatever. I want you to say, I am beautiful.
I am beautiful.
Oh, come on, guys. I didn't fly all the way to Toronto to get that whippy response. I am beautiful.
I am beautiful.
Are you feeling it? Let me tell you something. If you believe in a higher power, and if you believe they're perfect, then why would they create something imperfect? Each and every one of us is exactly what we're supposed to be. And what makes us different and unique is what makes perfection. That overly airbrushed, waist-in model that we aspire to, that's our perception of perfection. God made you. He doesn't make mistakes, baby. You are perfect, just the way you are. Embrace it, because I believe you are beautiful. You are beautiful. Toronto, thank you. Thank you, thank you.